Page 152, Over the Rainbow. It's a piece of solo repertoire, a piece that you can play for people if they want to hear you play the piano. Nice. They've got problems with it, but we'll just take it as it is and talk about it as we go. I'm not going to spoon feed you the notes. You should know the names of the notes in the music, and you should know the names of the keys on the keyboard by now. Otherwise, really go back to book one and start it all over again. However, I'm still going to go through the process because I use the same process with everything pretty much. I look it over, it's 2 pages long. The clef signs are treble and bass, at least to start they are. No sharps or flats in the key signatures, so it's either in the key of C major or A minor. If I look at the last measure on bottom page 153, it's here. It's a C major chord, more or less, so I figure we're in C major, but do the scales and arpeggios for C major and A minor, because that's no sharps or flats, except for the harmonic minor. And 4/4 time signature, and the first thing I do is I play through it one hand at a time. I want a fingering that lets me connect things, because here at the beginning, they want you a 1 and then a 1 here. I don't recommend it. I'm going to just spread out. That's the chord, just 1, 2. And then for the next one, I bring the thumb under as it's 1, 4. So I can connect all that. 1, 2, and 1, 4, and then 1, or 2, and then bring 2 down and do it again. I connected all those pretty much. Second line of measure 5. Yeah. It's an ugly looking chord. If you're not sure what it is, spell it out. This is measure 6. Beat 3 is the sharps and flats there. You have a B flat, a C sharp, and an E. So that's it. Now that B flat in the previous measure is only good for that measure. And again, I want to connect everything. So it's here. And I'm going to come down there 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4. I connected most of that. So the fingering again, starting at measure 6, is here. 2, 4. This is fine, but then come down and use 2, 4 on measure 7 here, and then a 1, 4, 2, 5, and then a 1, 2, 3. Let's slide off. I want to connect the notes, and anywhere else in this piece I get the same passage. I'm going to finger it the same way, and then you do it again on measure 9. Measure 17, we're up here. They wanted 4th finger at the last beat on measure, or the last note in measure 16. That's fine. Now, at the end of measure 22, we got to use a 2. We got to change hand positions to get ready for this. And then for measure 23, I recommend the 3, 5, and then a 2, 4. I'm changing hand positions again, getting ready for the next measure. So it's here, then 2, 4, and then here. And then in measure 24, do a 2, 3 on the last one. I don't want to use thumb, I need thumb for the next note. So I'm here, and that's the way my thumb's ready. Do that some more. Okay. Left hand, what's it up to? Well, broken chords, really. Connect this pretty well with the hands, so you gotta lift up for the wrist. You don't want to be up in here, you gotta do that. I don't care. 1. Now, if possible, between measures 8 and 9, I would prefer not to use the little finger twice. So at measure 8 here, can I do something besides a little finger there? Reach down, can use 4th finger. It's still a bit of a jump, but at least I'm not using the same finger. So then, once I have a fingering worked out more or less, and I kind of know the notes and the rhythms, then I'll attempt to put the hands together, and I'll hesitate. That's okay. I just want an idea how the hands are working together. It's here, and what the harmony sounds like. crossing over. That's okay. We can do that. There. What's this about? Does this sound okay to you? It's a B minor chord. Is that the chord you really want there? I guess it is. It's just a B minor chord in first inversion here. To me, that doesn't sound quite right. I'm just that's too much tension, but that's what they've done. So okay. And then here, and then now in measure 8. When I play that, the right hand comes up. And then do it again. So I go through and I'll get the hands together, and then I'll go over it in bits and pieces, and I'll work out any hesitations and the hard parts, get rid of them. Once I can do it with no hesitations, then I'll add in the articulation. And this is really very connected. You put in the phrasing. That's why I don't like their fingering, because you have to lift up. That's all one phrase. I want to connect all that, because these curved lines are slurs. Then lift up. So I want to connect that. So it's like 4 major phrases, what we're talking about. The left hand, I'm going to try and connect it all the way through, except for the rest, of course. For measure 17, the phrase is actually the pickup beat in front of that. Measure 16, that's all one phrase and is connected. And then measure 20, this is not melody. And then lift up. So measure 20, you got to lift up on those 8th notes. Separate the 8th notes, because it's a new phrase. Here. And then going to measure 25, it's a new phrase you can lift up. I still want a fingering that lets me connect it, so I can feel it, but I'm going to lift up for the phrasing. Yeah. So I put in the articulation, and then I'll add the dynamics. Well, suggested dynamics. MP at the beginning, mezzo piano, it's the melody. This, very soft, very in the back, especially when you're down low, because it'll come out louder. Now. To be careful on these measures like measure 4. That's moderately soft, and you hold it down, it dies away. This is busy. All the time I'm doing this, I want to hear this. And this is moderately soft, so be. I have to get real soft there so I can still hear that, and then come down. Come up a little bit to moderately loud. That's moderately soft, and this is under that. This can get a little louder, but it doesn't come up too much, because this on measure 9, that's what we're after. You're preparing for that. And then on measure 16, you get this comes down. Well, that comes down by itself, the right hand. It's the left hand. Get softer if you can, and then moderately soft, very soft. And then moderately loud. Now, it should be clear to the listener where the melody is at all times. In measure 19, this is melody. You don't get melody again until the pickup to measure 21. So in measure 20, those 4 notes are not melody. They need to sound like background. So it's here. Come down. Come down. You can get a little louder, because you're going to go up to moderately loud. solo. It needs to be clear to the listener, these notes in measure 20 are not melody. Don't play them out like a melody. Come down a little bit if you can. And you can get a little louder on each one because you're getting ready to go up to moderately loud. Yeah. Measure 24 or 23 and 24, you get the hairpin to... It's kind of the climax. And then come... I recommend on the left, here, second finger on the G, so I can go there. They have you here. Don't recommend it. 2 on that. So measure 24. And then lift up here, connect that. I'm connecting the left hand, lifting up here. Now I'm loud in the right hand. So forth. And then there are more indication for dynamics, but you end it soft and so forth. Once I have all that, then I'll think about the speed. This is just moderately. You can find all kinds of recordings. The one, two, and they say with expression, you gotta love that with expression, Mark. You should do everything with expressions, with feeling. Now that comes later. Right now it's moderato. The expression part comes after you're finished with the mechanics and you're comfortable with it and you're getting into the music and you start maybe singing it. You sing, I sing it, but maybe. Then you express it. Then you get into the feeling. And you can do more with these dynamics than what they're showing. If you feel it, try it. At the end, there is a retardando. It gets slower. Starting in measure 30, we're here. Too slow, or this last measure will last forever. But you're just gradually slowing down a little bit. And then the last measure, that P, they're indicating it, but in the right hand, it's going to be P anyway. And the left hand needs to be softer than P. It needs to be very soft. Very soft. And this is very soft because it's not melody. Yeah. Now they've added pedal, and that's fine. We can do the pedal. It helps us connect some things that we're struggling to connect with the fingers, and it gives us the overtone. Gives us, because we have time to hear a lot of these notes, so it'd be nice to color them, give them a little bit of flavor. But we have to be careful, or we'll just smear it all up. And this isn't really intended to be a foggy, misty piece. I guess it could. She's dreaming, but I personally like a cleaner melody. So first we try the pedaling suggested, and keep in mind in these books, the pedaling suggested is usually a pretty simplified pedaling because you got enough to think about. But hopefully you've learned it without pedal and you got the fingers doing what they're supposed to do. So when you start adding pedal, you can focus more on it, and we'll complicate the pedaling just a little bit to get a little better sound out of it. So it's going to be lag pedal. I'm going to do the notes first and then the pedal. And change the pedal after you play the notes. If that sounds okay to you, leave it. That's fine. Do it that way. I find it a little blurry. I think we can do a little better. Sometimes when I have moving notes like second measure, I'd rather not. So I might lift it up on beat 2 just to see. 2 and 3, and then you can lift it down. Measure 4, lift it up on beat 4, clean it out, clear. No. Same thing in measure 5, lift it up for the 8th notes. Same thing again. So I'm just now pedaling the 8th notes that they're doing. And now when you get top of page 153, A lot of times in these arrangements in this piece, they provide a little bit of contrast. And so far it's been all lots of overtones and everything going. But here we could have some contrast by simply leaving out the pedal and leaving this part clean. And add it there, measure 19. And measure 20. I want to hear that silence in the right hand. So I have to lift the pedal for the last 2 beats. And now don't pedal that. Now you can pedal. There's a retard here, I missed it. And to lift it up, hold that down, lift the pedal up, so we get a little silence in the right hand, new phrase. So again, starting at measure 23 here. You get the idea? Now at the end, say the last line on page 153 here. I'm now pedaling the right. Now here you do smear it out. So now next to the last measure with the 8th notes, you can smear those. Don't have to. You could clean those up too. It's just when we do that, we lose that note. I'd like to keep that note through the whole measure. Yeah. So in the pedaling part, for the most part, I'm leaving it close to the same. I'm lifting up for moving 8th notes. And to provide some contrast, I'm not pedaling measure 17 and 18 or 21 and 22. You can pedal them if you want to. It's just, I like to have it clean. It's interpretation. How you pedal, the dynamics, the articulation, the tempo of the whole, it's all interpretation. Expressively, expression, all that comes in together. It's a personal thing. Just don't violate anything the music is telling you to do. Although in many pieces like this one, all the articulation, dynamic, pedaling, all that is suggestions. Anything I tell you is a suggestion. Anything your teacher tells you, you do while you study under it. And then it becomes a suggestion. Let's play this together slowly. I'm going to pedal it like I suggested so you can see the pedaling again. I think you can hear the notes okay. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go.